to all of our. Yep, thank you. And also too, as the immediate past president, we're looking for new officers for the upcoming year. So if you have any questions or if you're interested, please reach out to me. I'll be here throughout the morning or email or call me. And with that, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Kate Orr. Come on up, Kate.
Good morning, everyone. Does everyone have an agenda? Those of you on Zoom, you know you can get that from our website so you can see our updated agenda. That looks nice, right? Let's make sure everybody gets one. Eric, can you bring me one? I have one in my bag, but I'll use that later today. Uh, E- Eric and Darcy, it's a race. It's a race. Everyone's taking care of everyone. Thank you for coming to this open house, spring open house. We like to do at least one open house every year. Order, order. Thank you for leaving the gavel up here, Eric. I need it today. All right. I am your vice president of education, but I love the energy in here. And I love when we are up and down and getting things situated and still giving our speakers, our friends, our fellow members of AM Lockport respect, but in a comfortable respect and in a comfortable setting. From Mark, who is enjoying sunshine right now, reminder when you say the word but, you basically negate everything you just said. We're having a great day, but you can say other options, and we'll talk about that maybe later if we have time. I'd like to point out this agenda because this is something a little bit new. Do you see this format? The last time I printed the agenda, I used this format too. It does go front to back. On our website, there are now two new agenda printing options, but you have to kind of scroll down to find them. So this is handy, and I'm going to point out a few things as it is our open house from the start. That is our theme today, open house. Grow your voice, grow your confidence as a Toastmaster. That's what we're here to do. And we're very excited. Actually, I feel like one of our guests already had committed, Zach or Chris, I'm not sure, to join in April. Am I mistaken? Zach's on for April 1st. Chris is on for April 1st. So that is two new members in our space right now. Thank you to everyone who's here, new members and seasoned members. Let's talk about who is in the space as well as this agenda while you're kind of taking a look at it. In the space, we have on Zoom Margot, David Jones, Phil, Marshall, Tracy. Am I missing anyone? I want to make sure we have everyone situated. We need to know who has roles and who doesn't have roles. That's helpful. Great. That's everybody. In the room, we have Len, Jim, Darcy, Eric, Marty, myself, I'm Kate, Mary, Mike Florio, Larry, Mike Licata, Beth, Steve, and Jill and Carol. This is important for our table to, and Sylvia. Oh, sorry. I said Carol. Joe, I missed Joe. Look at all these stragglers. I love stragglers, and we have a full space in here today. I'm glad you're comfy on the couch. We have fruit on the table there. Thank you, Marty, for bringing us some fruit from Tops as part of our refreshments for today. The larger coffee pot will be ready in about 10 minutes. And thank you, Darcy, as always, for coming so early and getting our other coffee station and the hot water situated. We also have a sign up, if you didn't notice, for new badges. Can someone who has their badge, maybe Eric, can you stand and show the room? And those of you on Zoom, I know you know what that already looks like. Oh, but you're coming up anyway, so fantastic. We have the badge. It has his name, it has the Toastmasters logo, and we have a lot of gift certificates we have been accruing for some years. So you're getting this complimentary as a member. If you'd like a new one, or you lost your old one. Oh, actually, Eric, will you get the box from the top of the closet? We have a holder, and I'm not sure who initiated that. Was that a Dave and Mike Licata project way back? I don't know who started that. They'll take credit, but no, Dave will take credit. So that's a badge box that you can leave your badge behind, and at every meeting, we'll start putting that on display again, maybe right where Dave is actually, to you can leave it behind and put it back on for the meeting or take it with you, especially when we go to other occasions like contests and our conference. Vanna are doing a beautiful job. So please sign up and spell your name on there how you want your badge to be. If you like, my formal name is Catherine. I don't want Catherine on my badge necessarily because a lot of people don't realize Kate or Katie is a nickname for Catherine. They get confused. In any case, back to the agenda so we can go through some housekeeping. We have the agenda isn't that different, except that it does give your timestamps, so we're going to keep right on time. I will already jump over to the backside because I think we only have one or two changes for housekeeping, meaning adjusting roles. My mom, Beth, will be our table topics master, not me. Beth is our table topics master. And in her place, she was grammarian. Is anyone interested in doing the grammarian role? We have plenty of voices on Zoom or in person who can do that, so we don't have any sharing of roles and we can hear your voices. Marty, thank you. Marty's already quote master. Is there anybody who doesn't have a role? That's a short one though, so going, where's my gavel? And gone. Marty gets it. All right, Marty gets grammarian and quote master today. He is happy to do that. Okay, on the agenda, it is showing our officers, our current officers, and like Eric just said, we are looking for next year's officers. About half are probably filled. If you're interested in any or have any questions, it's his responsibility as immediate past president to bring that up to us so we can vote in April. Guys, that's a month away. Holy moly, it's March. January lasted forever and February was over. I feel like that. Okay, under that is our website. So if you still haven't visited our website, the website is listed there and that's where this agenda is and all of where you can sign up and look at other resources from AM Lockport. And then under that is our Toastmasters International site. That's where you can click to your pathways. The club mission is listed below that. The club mission, do you remember who led the project to develop our club mission? And our club vision is at the very top. Jen Zapla, Distinguished Toastmaster DTM Jen Zapla, led an entire meeting where she took all 3 speaking spots and did one of the 40-minute projects, which was working together, and she split us all into groups over at Tom's Diner. It worked, and we developed in that process our club mission and club vision together. The vision to teach and inspire our community of Lockport and Greater Lockport to learn and grow as leaders and communicators. Our club mission, we provide a positive and supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. These are key elements of our club. Every club has a different culture, and there are thousands of clubs around the world. Then we will get right into our meeting today. Let's get to roll holders, and we have first up on deck. We already did the pledge, right? Yes, so on David Licata is on deck as our word master. David, what is your role? And tell us our word of the day, please. Thank you, Dave.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests, what kind of world would it be if you couldn't get a joke of the day, or in my case, the word of the day? So I want to explain to the new folks that as Toastmasters clubs go, this club plays hardball. That's the word of the day, hardball. And I want you to, this is a description of how you might go about a task. You're going to be really strict. You're going to stay within the parameters, the goals. But in AM Lockport, we do it in such a gentle way. That's why we retain membership. So even though we play hardball with our evaluations, when the speaker is done, they still can't wait to do another speech. Hardball. Speaking of hardball.
Sometimes we throw a softball in here and there. I think that is an excellent description. And this environment is kind of a tough love space. we get thicker skin, but we try not to sugarcoat our evaluations for one another. This is part and parcel of why we're here, to grow. Still, we do this with balance. And one of the trainings I'm led with is at work, maybe you've heard this before, is heart, head, heart. Heart, head, heart communication, where kind of like our sandwich approach for evaluations or evaluating one another, where you talk about strengths, and then you talk about some opportunities for growth, and then you talk about strengths and action for the future. It's kind of wrapping the rational of what we have to, how we have to grow with the emotional and with the connection. And that's another reason this club is successful, because we connect with one another. All right. Why don't I ask everybody in, we'll go right in the order of this agenda. So be up here on deck if you know that you are coming up next. And we'll have Sam is up next as our Master. Have you done this role yet before? Master? All right. Not your first rodeo. All right. Sam.
Thank you, Madam Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. During the meeting, I will listen for a crutch or any long pauses, crutch words such as well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds such as and and report back at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Sam. And Marty, both of your roles today. You want to cover them both right now? Okay, great.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guest. As far as the quote master, Ralph Smedley, who founded Toastmasters, once said that we learn best in times of fun and enjoyment. And here at AM Lockport, we always have fun and enjoyable meetings. And that's what makes AM Lockport worth getting up for. Moving into my grammarian role, as grammarian, I'll be listening for good and poor uses of the English language. And I might play a little hardball here and there, but I'll report back at the end of the meeting with my findings. Kate, thank you.
Thank you, Marty. And our jester, ready to make us laugh. He's always ready to make us laugh. I love Steve's sense of humor.
Are you sure about that? Thank you. My job is to say something funny. Now, I looked up open house and went down a totally different rabbit hole, got nothing relevant to what we're doing here as an open house. So I took a different route. I just looked at spring in general because we're all happy that it's getting better out. So I have found a few goodies here. Anyway, what goes up when the rain comes down? Very good. One in every crowd. Why can't the flower ride its bike? Yeah, because it has no pedals, yes. That's my job to heckle. Why did the Easter egg hide? Because it was a little chicken. Why did the farmer bury all his money? Really? He wanted to make it. He wanted to make his soil rich. I will do one more and get out of here. Thank you, Peanut Gallery. Keep going. Oh, I'm getting egged on. That's a bad thing to do. Why was the strawberry sad? I'm hearing a lot of crap. Garbage out there. No. Why was the strawberry sad? His mom was in a jam. Okay, I'll do one more and get out of here. Yeah. I lied. How does a bee brush his hair?
No.
with a honeycomb. Very good. Took to them to do it, but they got the answer. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I've outstayed my welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for the assist on that one. It takes two brains. We are one, united. Oh, good goodness. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate those. Hardball. All right, moving to the back side of the page. Let us introduce on Zoom David Jones, our timer. David.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As timer, I will be keeping track of time for all of our speeches, table topics, and evaluations. Speeches are 5 to 7 minutes, I believe, all three today. At 5 minutes, I will hit the green. At 6 minutes, yellow and red. At 7, and you have a 30-second grace period. And for those doing table topics, we're going to play hardball, but you have to go for green. Just always go for green. Try to hit the green, and then you know you're safe, especially our guest if anybody comes up. And I will report upon the time when called upon at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And our quiz master, Jill.
Who has to adjust the mic? Steve's joke telling made me think about how when we're on Zoom, it's so hard to do the ones that require feedback, like the jokes and the Quizmaster, which I am Quizmaster. Hopefully I will pick out some gems of information during the meeting, and I will play hardball and quiz you at the end. And the penalties for not answering, I don't know. We'll see. No, we'll see.
Thank you, Jill. And our general evaluator is Mary. Have you done this role yet? All right, she's ready. She's stepping up. What is your role?
I will be evaluating Kate and all the evaluators. And I will call if you want me to call for reports.
Okay. You want to?
I guess.
And she'll call for reports at the end, she said. Okay, I have one adjustment, one more housekeeping on the schedule. It keeps us on our toes and we become better communicators and leaders when we have to put out little fires, little troubleshoot here and there. We thought Nancy could be here today and she cannot, so she is marked as evaluator 1. Thank you, Mike Licata, for stepping up as evaluator 1. And so Mike Licata will evaluate Jim Sacco. So that might, Mom, change your plans for table topics, maybe not. Are you ready to lead us in our extemporaneous, off the cuff, practicing table topics opportunities? All right, Mama's ready to lead table topics. Can you be real? Can you be real clear?
Yes, I like coming after Kate because let's face it, she didn't follow the rules that I had in place by marrying my husband, that we were supposed to get height in the family. The rest of the kids are a little taller, but oh well. Yes. Jill said she was my practice, so yes. So, a few of my questions today, if you would like to answer or you want to go off and talk about something else, that's allowed also. But thinking about spring, oh, right, it's spring open house. We spring ahead, we fall back. Don't forget those. Otherwise, you're going to be either very early somewhere or very late somewhere. So make sure you do that correctly. One of the questions I would like to ask is, all right, thinking fall back. Most of us are a little older. is there something you would tell your 20-year-old self to maybe do something a little different? Sylvia, would you be willing to answer that question in table topics? Don't forget to use hardball. Yes, it is the season of hardballs, softballs, spring, whatever you would like. Morning.
It is so funny because that question comes up on Facebook all the time. People ask, what would you do differently? Would you go back in high school, relive your high school years and all that good times that you're supposed to have? I always scroll down because I don't like that question. But it's spring and raising two boys, and many of you know the story. This is spring training time. It's hardball, baseball season, hardball, softball. Because now I have a daughter-in-law who's a catcher too, just like my son, and they play ball all year long. So that's my spring, and I'm looking forward to that. Next week, I'll be going to Florida, watching some baseball and visiting my older son, and I think we're going to Florida Central, if I say it correctly, University baseball game on one of the nights. And then we're going to go see the Polar Bears play hockey another night. So it's a sporting event that we're going to visit people. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Who can I pick on next? Zach, would you be willing to come and tell us something? No? Different question. Come on, why would he need to tell us what he was going to do? 20 was not that long ago for him. Come on. Could you tell me what is your favorite spring activity? What do you like to do in the spring?
Hello, everybody. This is third time coming up here. See if we can get a little more comfortable as we go here. Yeah, so one of my favorite spring activities. Let's think. So in the wintertime, my wife recently got me into snowboarding. And I've done that over the last few years. And so I guess that's kind of coming to an end now. So now moving into spring, I would say the past few years has been just playing with the kids outside. I have 3 children. They're 4, 3, and a new baby girl who's 1 now. And so I think right now all of my time is consumed with them. And so spending time outdoors, we live in a cul-de-sac with a little circle outside. And so I'm very much looking forward to teaching them how to ride bikes around the circle and how to do lots of other fun things, skateboarding. What are the ones where you have to twist? The rip sticks? Eric, do you remember those ones? Those are some of the new ones, and now they even have electric ones. You guys see the one wheels? People riding down the streets on the one wheels. Those are incredible. The kids won't be on those anytime soon. Yeah, we'll play hardball with those. They're not allowed to have those for a long time. So I would say that's my favorite spring activity coming up here. Thank you very much.
And I understand. We have neighbors. They have 2 boys. For whatever the reason, they love either roller skating, running, biking on our driveway into our garage. Like that's the thing they have to do. When the garage door is shut, they're just horrified. That's not what's supposed to happen. But they love to do that. They don't have a paved driveway, so they came over the other day and they were rollerblading up and down the driveway. Of course, go ahead. have fun. It's spring. Maybe. Let's hope. Yes, yes. And I'll do one more question. Mike Florio, I know you had a little job, but would you be willing to come up and do table topics for me? That won't mess up our timing. Morning.
Good morning.
Well, you're a little younger than I am, but you know, reach back and what would you tell your 15, 20-year-old self?
Okay, I was thinking about that a little bit. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests. Wow, if I could go back and tell my past self, I think I would just kind of say, relax. Don't worry as much about the future, and go out there and take risks. Take even more risks than you can, right? It's easy to sit back and maybe not try something because you're a little afraid, even like Toastmasters, really. Toastmasters brought me a lot out of my shell, because I was always that quiet guy sitting in the back, kind of not really taking that risk, not ready to take, to play hardball, right? And try and just achieve and grasp for more. And I think that's what you need to do when you're younger. If I were to tell my younger self something, I'd say, just go for it. Go for it. Give it a try. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't work, but at least you gave it a shot, and that's kind of what I would get across. I even try to get across that to my kids is give it a try. If it fails, if it doesn't succeed, well, you gave it a shot, and you gave it your all. So that's what I would say to my younger self. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'm getting direction here from Kate. Shocker. Any of you know us. Yes, she's really good at giving me directions. So I will go to Zoom. Margot, would you be willing to answer a spring question?
Sure. We're doing extras today, huh?
Yes, go for it. Okay, so I know spring is when you begin to not see your husband as much. Correct. So let us know what you like to do before spring so that maybe you can see Jim a little bit.
It's interesting that you asked that, because this time of the year is the time that actually Jim is playing a lot of hardball. He just spent a week in Washington, D.C., a week before that in Albany. He is home this entire week, but next week he has to go to Cooperstown, and the week after he's back to Washington, D.C. Now you might wonder what he's doing. My husband has 2 jobs. He's not only running a farm, but he is the executive director for the Horticulture Society, and the Horticulture Society lobbies. So basically, he is getting paid to do the things he used to volunteer for. So last week, he got to meet with Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand and different Congress people from across the state. Then he went to Albany and had a meeting with the New York Labor Department. And today he's actually on his way to Buffalo. What's going on in Buffalo? There's a whole case about organizing farm workers, because we bring our labor in from Mexico. They are H-2A. They are contracted workers. They're not eligible for being in a union by law. However, the union's trying to unionize them, and it's creating a whole havoc. So he's on his way to Buffalo. So I don't even see my husband in the wintertime, except for the week we go on our cruise. Madam Table Topics Master.
And sometimes go down to Mariner's Landing for dinner, correct, Margot? We saw them last week. Before I go on, if there's enough time, oh, I will in a minute. I'm going to go off. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Note to self. Some of you know we got a new washer and dryer over the winter. Little expensive. The dryer isn't, the top of it is not level. So note to self, do not put laundry detergent on a dryer that is not level. Oh, yes. So when the dryer starts and it jiggles a little, laundry detergent fell off. I was working in the office, just opposite wall there. I heard it, but I was working on festival stuff. Okay, I'll just finish this. But it's fine. The top's on. It hasn't been opened. It's fine. Top cracked. Went out, opened the door to the laundry room, and there was a nice thin layer of laundry detergent over the floor. So probably if my husband were camera efficient, which he's really not, he probably would have come out and taken a video of me on my hands and knees with a scraper scraping the laundry detergent up off the floor, because I am a Scotswoman and I'm not going to just like throw it away. So I'm scraping it and putting it in a bowl and putting it in. Yes, that was my adventure a couple days ago. Yes, the things you do, correct? Well, the dryer is level, but the top is not. It's designed that way. Apparently, they don't want you putting stuff on their dryer, so it doesn't have that anymore. So, yes. Anyway, let's see now. Joe Budnack, do you have a role, or can you speak to us today? All right. Come on down. I can't ask him something from his, high school, because then he'd start telling about his maybe favorite teacher, right?
You know it. Who made math bearable.
And then you went back to Mr. M. We won't really.
Right.
Yes. I'm old enough, yes. Joe is one of my students. As my grandson says, they're everywhere, wherever we go. So, Joe, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite spring activity?
Certainly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, during the springtime and during the summer, I love to go out on the back porch at night because I love the nighttime and listen to music. And not just listen to music, but listen to the crickets, the birds chirping, the sounds of the night. Just really do love it. And that's something I've always enjoyed doing at my old house in Newfane and my new house in Lockport. Just either take my cell phone or my iPad or iPod rather, and just listen to music at night. And I sometimes have this tendency of staying out there. If it's really nice out, like around past midnight, I lose track of the time on a work day, which isn't a smart thing to do. And then I'm usually struggle to get up in the morning and be to work on time, which isn't nice because, they play hardball at the school when you're late. So that's something that I enjoy doing. And during the winter time, my favorite winter time is simply sitting in my easy chair with a cup of coffee reading a good book. That's my favorite wintertime activity. I did that a couple times this winter because I work in a school and we had some snow days, which wasn't bad either. So hopefully the good weather is here to stay for a while. And hopefully I can get out on my back porch, listen to those crickets and my music. So everyone, please still stay safe on the road. Thank you.
And now I believe we'll pass the lectern back to Kate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will do our timer and word report. So if you'd like to be on deck and ready, we have David Jones first. David is ready. He is unmuted. How'd they do?
Everybody was a little light today, but didn't really go that far or long. Sylvia came in at 119, Zach 133, Mike 135, Margot 128, and Joe 122. So they all qualified.
All of them
Thank you.
qualified. Fantastic. I had jumped in as table topics master, so I knew I didn't prepare a lot of filler today. I knew we would have more opportunities to speak. I should have actually relayed it to my mother when she volunteered to be table topics. Thank you, everybody. How did our word do? What do you think? Pretty well.
Prior to table topics, the word was doing a nice job, and during table topics, everybody used it. Sylvia used it twice to remind us that she has two sons constantly playing baseball. So, from the word standpoint, they qualify Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being ready and willing to speak. Thank you, Mom, for being flexible. Thank you, Len, because this is more work for him, too, because he sets up the polls for our Zoom attendees. They vote online. Thank you to our Sergeant at Arms and Treasurer for handling the voting and ballot collecting, etc. Okay, it looks like we're getting situated. Are we able to move right into our, oh, I'm sorry, are you? Nope, you at the end. Mary will call on you. So good question. Will that's the qualifying. To qualify, to clarify for our newest members and guests, to qualify to get possibly to be voted in as the top table topic speaker, you have to qualify by time and say the word of the day in this club. Not all clubs do that for table topics. It's a guideline and suggested. And we play hardball, as Dave just said, and we want to encourage our growth and make sure that that works out. Now, we will shift right into our speaking portion of our presentation. I am thrilled to introduce Jim because he is one of our newest members. He was very organized and detailed in pulling together his evaluation team and getting here early to set up, and he emailed me over last weekend and is very patient with my late response. So thank you again, Jim. And then thank you, Mike, for stepping up. Would you like to get things situated first or? All right. Would you like Mike to do his intro first? Okay. All right. Both of you are doing that together, and I'll start shifting the lectern out of the way. Mike Licata stepped in as his evaluator, and he has even a setup team. Do, 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 do. This is on wheels and so handy because our Zoom and setup team. Wow, it's like we're doing a TV show or something. But we have to make sure Len approves of all of our positioning. Staging. Jim, will you stand here? Okay. Is that good? Is that good? Is that good? Perfect there. Stand in front of the phone. No. Stand in front of the phone so that it looks better on the screen. You can rearrange as you need. Okay, Mike, as the evaluator, and will you please introduce him and I'll have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you again, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Jim is speaking out of the Pathways Presentation Mastery Manual. Mr. Timer, the time is 5 to 7 minutes, and the purpose of his project is to learn basic methods for writing a speech. Sorry, the one thing I forgot to write down is his speech title, so I will let him do the speech title. Thanks. Thank you. Can giving be more enjoyable? Jim Sacco, can giving be more enjoyable?
Thank you. Mr. Evaluator, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Can giving be more enjoyable? I don't know. As we get older, I mean, I usually give at the end of the year. I donate to different causes online or what have you. Or I just send in letters. But after the first of the year, I'm getting all of these letters in the mail, and sometimes I'm getting 2 to 5 a day. And it's sometimes, we all have a place in our heart for charity, for giving. We like to assist others people who are in need, but sometimes it gets to be more challenging to us, and it becomes a little bit more difficult. So how do I enjoy giving? Look at my past. I mean, I'm in the fourth quarter of my life right now. And I'm looking back at my past and I'm saying, well, what are some of the good things that I did? Well, my kids, 4 kids, went to DeSales Catholic School. I had 17 years there because they ranged in age from, there was 11-year difference between my oldest and youngest. So I was there for 17 years, K through 8. And there are some great moments that I had there. We had the auctions that we have. We have an auction and I bid on a painting. I don't know, one you'll see when I do the remote meeting from home, you'll see this large painting of the Last Supper. Well, I was just trying to raise the bidding for this. I was bidding more and I had a little bit too much to drink, but I got this beautiful painting on my wall now that you will see every time that I to my meeting from home. So those are some of the good things that happened. Another one was when we built the playground outdoors in 2001. 41 years old. I'm working with fathers. I had male bonding with all the fathers who were there. There are people who were doctors, lawyers, machinists at Delphi, engineers, police officers for the city, for the county. We all bonded together, and that really helped, usher, through, just make things a lot easier working with people throughout the time that I spent at DeSales. My kids spent at DeSales Catholic School. So we think about it. What are the ways in my fourth quarter of my life that I could look at to be involved with fundraising or what have you? And what my wife told me one time said, "Hey, Jim, they have the DeSales Catholic Schools has a 5K race coming up in 2010. Well, you're 50 years old then. This is great. Why don't I do this?" And also the fundraising, the fee that you pay pays for, is the fundraiser for the school. So I decided to do that once, and that kind of led to a few more things there. And so my first medal that I got here was my first medal was in 2010. I got third place in my age group. It was great because I'm beating other parents who were younger than me, 10 to 15 years younger than me. They say, "Oh yeah, Jim, you'll do good. You'll do good." But it was fun. And also, so I said, "Hey, what else can I do?" So I did that a number of years. You can see a few of these other medals here. I got I got placed. I also did the Wendelville 5K race, the Harvest Moon, which is in September. That's my fire department. My fee paid for the fundraising. In the end, I got a fried bologna sandwich with peppers and onions. It's like, oh, it sounds great. But I told my brother, "Oh, Jim, how could you eat that?" I said, "No, Chris, it's not like the junk that Mom used to buy when we grew up. This is good bologna, So those are some of the fun things that I did. And it was all my fee would be the donation. This past month in February, I ran a number of races. I did Mr. Ed's, which is the fundraiser for the Middleport Fire Department. I also did the Lockport 10, which is a fundraiser for the Palace Theater. Used to be the Lot Y10. I did that at one time. It was 15 below zero. That was interesting. But that used to be for the YMCA in Lockport, and also the most recently the Polar Bear run, which was for the Alcott Fire Department, and I got third place there. So I've had some fun doing some of these different races. This one here is the Turkey Trot, Buffalo, New York, since 1896. Every year they've run this. It's the longest running race known in the world today. Every year they've run this. The only reason I have a medal, well, there's 14,000 runners. So there's no way the hell I'm going to place. Especially it's on Thanksgiving Day in the morning. But but this was during COVID year. We did a virtual race where I did, and everybody got a medal that year. Something, Mike Florio, I always see him at the turkey trot. He got a medal too that year, yeah. So it was good. But see, these are some of the other races we do. I did the St. Patrick's Day. We have the Shamrock Run, which is coming up. Also, the half marathon. Now, there's a difference between the Buffalo half marathon and full marathon. I encourage people who do the half marathon to do the full marathon at some point, just to find the difference. So, but there are other issues. Now, the spring is here. We're playing hardball now this spring. I have to get my bike out because I do the Ride for Roswell. Last year, I met up with a friend of mine who I graduated from high school with, and we said, hey, what are we going to do? And so he said, hey, Jim, we're 65 years old. Let's do 65 miles on a bike. So we did that. And it's a great fundraiser. It's a great experience. And the fee that I pay for this race ends up paying for the fundraising that I do. But it also offers an opportunity for other people who have a conscience who want to donate to this fundraiser. So I tell my friends and family, I said, look, the fee that I pay right now pays for this race. But if you would like to donate to this, please feel free to. If you just want to encourage me, that's good too. And also for other people, if you want to ignore what I have to say, that's all right too. I have no problem with that. It's just a great time, and it's something that I do to, which I can say is make giving more enjoyable. Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Right? Nice and slow, nice and slow.
Okay.
Have a great time to get there. Coffee. If you're in the room. All right. I love the visuals we have today. Can I do a quick sidebar to Jim? Did you run the Buffalo Marathon, half marathon the last 2 years? Oh. Wow. That's a big deal. I brought it up because Eric and I have volunteered at that. It's Memorial Day Sunday every year, and we volunteer at 6 a.m. to help with the traffic control. That's a lot of fun. If you want to join us, Memorial Day Sunday, we're Red Cross volunteers. Let's roll right into our second speaker with visual aids today. Her evaluator is on Zoom. Tracy, are you ready to introduce Darcy? And can you introduce her, and I'll have a seat.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you, Madam
wonderful.
Toastmaster. So, fellow Toastmasters, today, Darcy speaking from the Presentation Mastery book. Her speech is 5 to 7 minutes. It's level 2. The title of her speech is Mentor Memories. And I forgot to point out, fellow Toastmasters, as you're listening to her speech, the idea of the speech is for her to share a moment when she was a prodigy and the impact that it had on her. So I'm going to introduce Darcy Colby, Mentor Memories. Darcy.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters and our guests. Mentor memories. I have 2 mentors in my life that are very memorable. I'd like to tell you about them. One was Karen Camp. She was a science teacher at Moravia School while I was a math teacher. I think very highly of her, and I call her a dear friend. She cared about me and probably kept me from quitting. I never had to worry about whether our conversations were kept confidential, because they always were. I missed her when she retired before I did, and I treasure the time that we had spent together. She had wisdom beyond her years. However, the most important mentor in my life was my father, Roger Demon. An entrepreneur, business owner. He is the reason I am who I am today. He led by example, and he led well. He was the youngest of 4 boys, and they and their father, my grandfather, farmed in Wilson with a dairy and vegetable farm. When I was growing up, we milked 100 cows in a stanchion barn with a pipeline, and we cropped about 700 acres. What did I learn from my father as mentor? Lots of things. I learned how to drive a tractor. I learned how to plow, how to color mulch, how to drag, how to disc. I learned how to operate the silo unloader and the roller mill. I learned how to stack hay bales so they wouldn't tip over. Lots of animal husbandry. I learned how to milk cows, how to treat cows, how to bed cows, how to feed all the different stages of a cow. I even learned how to help a cow have a calf many, many times. In the big picture of things, I learned a lot of other things. I learned how to work hard and finish the job. I learned honesty and integrity. I learned that you always pay your debts. I learned that you make do with what you have. I learned you can save a lot of money by doing things and fixing things yourself instead of hiring someone else to do it for you. I learned how to keep working even when you don't feel like it. Cows never grow up and learn how to feed themselves or milk themselves. You had to be there 7 days a week. And I learned how to sit down as a family and have meals, along with a hired man, along with the 4-year-old neighbor kid that my mom babysitted, along with any salesman that happened to come along at mealtime. We had a big table. Growing up on a farm was unique. Do you know that 1% of the population feeds 100% of the population? I always felt like an oddball at school. There was only a couple other kids in my class that actually grew up on a farm like I did. There was Alex Schatz, maybe you know him. He grew up on a dairy farm. Then there was Jim Fenn and Everett Tower growing up on vegetable farms. But they were all boys. So I really felt like an oddball when all you wanted to do was fit in. Then I went to Alfred State College, took ag classes, and I found out there's lots of farm kids just like me. Were we rich? Not by most people's standards. We didn't go on vacation, but we did have a summer home on Rushford Lake, which also doubled as a hunting camp. We didn't play hardball, we didn't play softball, but we water skied, and that's where I learned to water ski at age 12. You'll need that later. We didn't have expensive things, but we always had food on the table. We would run beef cows with the dairy herd, and every 6 months we'd slaughter one, throw it in the freezer, and we ate a lot of steak and a lot of hamburger. Money was tight, so when I was 12 years old, I started earning my own money. I'd babysit and do other odd jobs around for the neighbors. How did I like growing up on a farm? Well, I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'm going to answer that question. A wealthy farmer took his son out to the country, and he wanted to show his son what it was like to live in poverty. They stayed a few days with a farm family that was considered poor. As they were driving home, the father said to his son, "So, did you see how the poor people live?" And the kid said, "Oh, sure did." And the father said, "Well, what did you learn?" And the kid said, "Well, we have a dog, but they have a dog and lots of other animals. We have a large pool. They have a creek that has no end. We have imported lanterns. They have millions of stars. We have a patio that reaches the front yard. They have the whole horizon. We live on a small piece of land. They live on hundreds of acres. We have servants. They serve others. We buy our food. They grow their own. We have walls to protect us. They have friends to protect them." It showed me how poor we really are. And that's how I feel about growing up on a farm. I feel damn lucky to have grown up on a farm. We had the largest yard in the neighborhood, and all the kids would come over to our yard to play kickball. I'm lucky to have learned biology firsthand. I'm really lucky to have the best mentor ever, my dad, to grow with and learn from. So let's get back to mentoring. Mentoring is important. Having each other as mentors in this club can only enhance our experience as Toastmasters. From the officer meeting we had a couple days ago, I learned that we don't have a formal mentor program, but perhaps we should. However, there is a place on the international website that you can sign up to be a mentor or a mentee, even if you are an experienced Toastmaster. I'm all for mentoring. It's just a natural extension of helping others and asking for help when you need it. And I'm pretty sure that that's what God wants us to do. Madam Toastmaster.
I want the baby cow. The rest of the time, the baby cow was hidden away. That was very clever. Well done. And moving on to our third and final speaker for today. It is Larry McKenzie, and he's going to be evaluated, it looks like by Carol, because she's on deck and ready. Carol, and can you introduce him and I'll sit down? You can introduce him and I'll sit down.
Okay. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster and guest, today I will be evaluating Larry McKenzie. He is on a path of engaging humor, level 3, I believe, and it's telling a story. Mr. Timer, it's 5 to 7 minutes, and the title is Cruising. Larry McKenzie.
Thank you, Carol. This morning, I want to take you on a little journey that I recently had the pleasure, some may not agree, of taking with my wife. We celebrated our 70th birthday, and we decided to go on a cruise. We went with a group called the Nerds Gone Wild. It is a, yes, it is a local band, and this was our 6th annual cruise. So we all became nerds for a week, had the glasses, the whole 9 yards. But the beginning of our journey started out 5:30 in the morning, up, dressed, showered, ready to go to the airport. We're flying American Airlines. Got to the airport the 2.5 hours early as they ask. Went through the whole process of getting through security, get to our gate. Wonderful, wonderful. Walked all the way over to gate number 6, which wasn't too bad. And now I'd been on a journey for the last 28 days of doing at least a mile plus per day, which I've blown out of the water up until that point. But this day I'm thinking, I'm not going to get my steps in. I was incorrect because I got on the airplane in Buffalo. We flew to Philadelphia. If any of you have ever flown to Philadelphia, don't. The reason is we landed at gate F20. Our connecting flight was at gate A20. So you may say, well, A, not too far away. We decided to walk because there were no little cars that take you or golf carts. So we started walking and walking. We had a 3-hour layover in Philadelphia. The first hour and a half of that pretty much was walking from gate F20 to A20. It was 2.1 miles. We walked all the way from F to D, E, F, A, and then we got over the A finally, and there's these little carts there that say, oh, would you like to go from A to F? We'll drive you there. I'm thinking, where were you at the other end bringing me this way? They weren't there. So we got to A, and we start walking. Now you'd think A20, where do you start? A1. Got all the way to the end. We get on the airplane, make it to Miami. If you've ever been to Miami airport, another place you don't really want to be, going or coming. The reason is once we arrived there, we had to go get our luggage. Luggage is at B6. Oh, cool. Well, from where we were, we had to walk down to the other end of the airport to get to the escalator that went down to the bottom. And then you're looking for B6, which B6 was at the other end of where you just came from. So you had to walk all the way down there. We got our luggage. The information for us to catch our shuttle was go outside to number 4. We go outside to number 4, stood there for about 20 minutes. I didn't even see a bus. And I'm thinking, there's something wrong. I called the hotel and they said, oh, you're supposed to be on the other level. Oh, at what number? 7. Cool. Went up to the next level, walked and walked and walked. We finally got there and we waited about 40 minutes for the shuttle. Finally got to the hotel at 10:15 that night. All good. We got on our boat the next morning, which is another wonderful thing. We cruised with NCL. Our cruise was to Belize, Honduras, Costa Maya, Mexico, and then to the Bahamas to Great Stirrup Cay. This was great. We're on the boat. This is wonderful. Hurry up and wait again. Hurry up and wait again. Finally, we got our room and we started our cruise. We all became very nerdy. I also learned that there are two things. When you have a drink package, you don't try to drink it all on the first day. It catches up to you really quick. The other thing is that I've been watching my nutrition for the last year plus, doing quite well. Well, when you're on the boat, it's 24 hours a day, or the boat, excuse me, the ship. When you're on the ship, it's 24 hours a day. Eat what you want, whenever you want, as much as you want. Not in the first day. So I learned really quick that you should probably pace yourself. Well, as we traveled along, we went to Honduras, and I'm a hat guy. These hats don't really protect you from the sun. So I decided I need to buy myself a hat. So I bought myself a hat. Now I bought this in Honduras. You think, well, it's made in Honduras. No, it's made in Mexico. Close, not too far away. Spent the day with all of these wonderful people from our boat. But then as we traveled on to the next Honduras and then to Castamaya, there's so much going on in the world that a lot of the ports weren't accepting the boats. So a lot of the boats were all converging on the islands or what have you that were taking people. Needless to say, we ended up with about 8, 10, 12,000 people at every port. So it was wall-to-wall people. End of journey. We tried to come home. We waited and waited and waited for a bus to get us to the airport after we got off the ship. We finally, after 2.5 hours, make it to the airport. We're flying back to Philadelphia. Well, we got into Miami. The flights are all delayed and delayed and then delayed again because there's too much air traffic. And with everything going on, not a lot of people are getting paid. So they're deciding to slow things down. Not enough crew, not enough this. So needless to say, our flight connecting, we were going to miss. So I went up to the window and I said to the lady, we're supposed to fly out at 5:30. I'm not going to make my connecting flight. Oh, I can put you on this flight that leaves at 7:30. Direct flight. Thank you. We took it. I said, there's room. Oh, yeah, plenty of room. We left there, walked the other end of the airport, down into the basement. If you've ever been in Miami airport, they have a basement. And this is where they send people that they really want to do nothing with. Because there's one gate, it's A60, that has 11 doors that go out to all these planes that are on this. Well, needless to say, my 7:30 flight pulled out of there at 10:30, 10:35. We arrived back into Buffalo at about 20 after 2 by the time I got downstairs. And I learned a lot. Miami, Philadelphia, stay away. Madam Toastmasters.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Larry. David Jones, will you tell us the timing, please?
Sure. All three qualified. We had Jim at 6:40, Darcy at 6:03, and Larry at 7:22 with the buffer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. For anyone on Zoom, we have a guest who is our fire extinguisher checker for the building. And so thank you, Len and Eric, for helping assist the young man trying to get access to the fire extinguisher directly behind the lectern. Okay, I think we'll move right into our evaluations. And I will invite, if he is ready, Mike Licata. Are you ready to evaluate? Oh, and everybody please vote because they all three qualified since we said that. So please vote. And all three qualify. And now we'll move into our evaluations. Mike Licata.
Kate, your next job should be efficiency expert because we're working on it. Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters. Good morning, our guests, and especially Jim. Jim, you have such a great presence. You feel very natural up here. As a returning member, if it feels like you haven't left. You seem very comfortable. You were very, very prepared. I have to give you a lot of credit for being that prepared. I know you planned for weeks. You worked with Darcy to get the easel so you can bring it in. The reveal, pulling off the curtain, probably is one of the most impressive parts of the speech because it just shows how committed you are to running and being an inspiration to our club. That being said, I know you're just getting back into it. I noticed you sometimes sped up the way you talked. I would sit down and maybe write out a beginning, a middle, and end because I feel like your ending was rushed. I think that to improve your speaking, get more comfortable with the technology. I know it's something that we've all learned, we've all gotten used to these last couple of years. Is when you try to do so many different things. I know it's distracting. I tried to watch some of your speech on the monitors because we always have to remember that there are people watching the speech in Zoom and that it is important that they can understand and see. So the preparation you did was great. The way we moved everything around was good. I just think maybe next time, I know we have a lapel mic if you want to do that for your next speech. It didn't. Okay, so you don't have a, oh, but thank you for trying. So I'll take that away. I think that you did a great job this morning. You taught a lot of experienced Toastmasters as well, the value of preparation for putting together a speech, for bringing in props, for bringing in your different perspectives and your ability to seem very natural as a newer Toastmaster. I'm glad Chris and Zach were here and able to see that speech, to understand that it can be very comfortable to even give your second and third speech. With that, I will wish you good luck going forward, and I will turn everything back over to our Toastmaster King.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Jim, especially. That's an amazing display, and we'll run for beer. That's fantastic. I encourage members to take a peek at this afterwards. And I'll say I loved how you were in the screen and you could really showcase that to everybody. Not only is it wonderful for those on Zoom, it's also for the recording when we then go back and watch ourselves to improve on our own speaking and presenting. And we're our own worst critics. We're our own worst critics. So be kind to yourself too when we're encouraging one another. Okay, our second evaluator is Tracy on Zoom evaluating Darcy. Tracy.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and especially Darcy. Darcy, I loved this speech today. It was really a wonderful dedication to your father, and you told us how much he taught you. First, he taught you about hard work, about sustainability and growing up on a farm and working with the animals. And the most important thing was probably about family, how everybody was invited to your table, whether it be your family, your friends, workers on your farm, or even just the people that your mom took care of. It was a great lesson. And these are all really good lessons that everybody should learn. And we need to build more community around these things. One of the other things that you did really well in your speech, it was probably the best line of the speech is, I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'm going to answer that question of how I feel about this. I thought it was fantastic. The story was a really, really good story that made your speech memorable. So that really just added to the speech. I'm told you had props there in the room, and here on Zoom, we weren't able to see them, but I noticed that you did point to something, probably a picture of your father and some of those props. One of the limitations on Zoom, and I can't knock you on this, I am going to do a little bit of hardball. I think you could have slowed down in your speech and put in some pauses just to allow us to absorb what you're saying and to add some drama to some of those stories that you told. And that was a fantastic speech. It was interesting. It caught our attention. You really met your objectives of what you were supposed to accomplish in the speech. You told us about a mentor, probably one of the best mentors in our lives is our own family and our parents, and that what they taught you and the impact that it had on you. Encourage you to give a lot more of these speeches because I loved it. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, Carol Ann is coming up on deck. She's evaluating our final speaker, Larry, today. And thank you. We're a little behind. We went a little bit longer, but not too much. So thank you, Carol. All right.
Today, I had the privilege of evaluating Larry McKenzie, who is a very experienced speaker who you can tell very much enjoys telling us stories. He had a lot of gestures. His hands were moving, and you could just tell by looking at his gestures what he was feeling when he had some of these bad experiences at airports and frustrations. And he was very enthusiastic about this trip, even with some problems. He maintained good eye contact. To me, a couple times it seemed like maybe he looked to that side of the room more, but that's not anything too distracting from his speech. He speaks very smoothly, and he had props, wearing the shirt, changing the hats. And the one thing, he may have been speaking just a little more quickly than he had to, but he was still very, very easy to understand everything. And he gave us details, and so very descriptive that I think we felt his frustration. We almost felt a little bit tired thinking of walking, and a few of us have probably had some experiences with that. I know one time I had experience with a flight delay, and but it seemed as though he had a very good trip. He adjusted to anything that didn't go as planned, and he certainly covered the topic, which was engaging humor, and he certainly did give us something to laugh about. Madam Toastmaster.
He definitely did. Thank you for the laughs. And everyone really got into character today with the hats and the props and the outfits. I love that, getting into expressing ourselves. Mary, I'm sorry, timers report. Mr. David Jones, timers on our evaluator. And then Mary, come on up deck for GE.
All three qualified: Mike at 2:37, Tracy at 2:13, and Carol Ann at 2:47. Thank you.
Bravo. Thank you, David Jones. And Darcy is coming around again for the ballots. Please vote for any of the three of our evaluators: Mike Licata, who stepped in, Tracy, and Carol. And Mary is ready for her general evaluation report, and she said she'll call on our reports as well. Okay. Great.
All three evaluators used the sandwich approach. Mike, you could have said to Jim, just for fun, to wear like 20 medals. You had very good props. You were Mike, I like how you said he was natural and he gave a good improvement. Carol Ann. So Larry did a sandwich approach. Good eye gestures. Eye contact. He ended quick on time. And he was humor. And he had nice props too. Tracy. Darcy could have shown everybody the picture of her dad. Good eye contact. Less reading your notes. And story and good props. And Kate. I can't forget about you. I liked your theme, and it's only like 22 more days till spring. Do I call up on everybody? I'm gonna pass it back to you, Kate.
Wonderful job for your first time as GE. Thank you, Mary. Bravo. All right, let's get on deck and go in reverse order how we have our reports. And reverse on here, we have back up to Marty would be first with his grammarian report. Sam's on deck, and then Jill, and then David. All right, Marty.
Thank you, Kate, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I heard some good uses of the English language, and I'm going to start with our Toastmaster of the day. Kate said the rational and the emotional. I like that. And then Steve said, I'll do one more and get out of here. And I think he was in a hurry to get out of here. And I think he meant to say, get out of here. But I know we all do that. We all carry our words, combine our words sometimes. And Mike Florio said, Toastmasters brought me out of my shell, a lot out of my shell. And I believe the proper sentence structure, you could use something along the lines of this, Mike. Toastmasters brought me out of my shell and increased my confidence, something along that line. And then let's see here. Joe Budnick created and painted a nice picture with words. And he said, along his favorite spring activity, he said, listening to the crickets. And Jim, I like this sentence structure. You said, working with these people from various professions created a great bond. And running these races is what I do for enjoyment. That's nice. Darcy, I wish I could have taped you and just play this at work very often. You said, I learned how to work hard and finish the job. I think those are very important words. Where the work ethic, you grow up on a farm or any profession where you work hard. I think this current generation needs a little boost in their work ethic, in my opinion, my humble opinion. And Tracy said, Darcy is speaking from the Presentation Mastery book, and just a little, nothing major, but it's actually Darcy is speaking from the Presentation Mastery Pathway. And Larry, when you were talking about the Miami airport and being in the basement, you said 11 doors that went out to, I think you said 11 doors that went out to the thing, and I believe it's called a tarmac. I might be wrong, but I understand what you were talking about. But just little things to help us with our use of English grammar. Kate, that's all I have. Thank you. Back to you. Back to Sam.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian. I'm just going to go down the list here. Sylvia had 1. Zach, was it Zach? Sorry, I learn so many new names every day. Zach had 5. Mike had 2, and a few you knows. I don't know if I should mention that. Margot and Joe, I believe, had none. Jim Sacco had greater than 5. Darcy had 2. And Larry, I believe, had none. Thank you.
For those of you who didn't see Darcy's. Okay. As quizmaster, if you forget to change your clocks this weekend, are you going to be early or late for lunch Sunday? You're going to be late. Larry says he's always early for food. What is a cul-de-sac good for? Riding bicycles. Yes. How old was Jimmy Sacco when he built the playground? 41. And I disagree with you, fourth quarter of life here. I do not want to think that I am in the fourth quarter of life. What year did Turkey Trot start? 1896. A few people. I did. Oh, history teacher over here. I seriously doubt that was in the history books. Okay. To the props. How did Darcy learn biology? And I'll do this in the proper direction even. Larry said he didn't have a note from home to be in this class. Okay, this question probably has multiple answers, but I'm going to take for a question for today's meeting. What airports are difficult? Miami and Philadelphia. JFK. What else do we hear? Atlanta. Huh? Denver? I've been to Denver, but when I was there, it was before they did their big remodel, but even then it was huge. So, yeah. Okay. So that is all of my reports. I think Dave is up next.
Jim, don't worry about the fourth quarter. I have a son that every day he says it's a 2-minute warning, Dad. All right. How did hardball do? Well, it generally falls off after table topics, but today it hung on. Did a nice job. So Katie used it once, Marty once, David Jones once, Jill once, Jim Sacco once, Tracy once, and Darcy snuck it in as well. And remember, this weekend, look at your clock and play hardball. Madam Toastmaster. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dave. Yes. Yes, I texted Phil. He is our Toastmaster of the day next week. Do you have a theme for us yet, Phil?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I do have a theme. What else? St. Patrick's Day.
What else? And he's in props, also ready for the next week.
Right. And what else is, just as a little information for Dave, hardball meant in the North End, because he forgets his North End heritage, meant Hannigan's Field, where we played baseball until we graduated to Outwater Park. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day next week. I have ribbons for today. I have ribbons and I have the split club. Our best table topics had to leave for work. Zach today is our best table topics. We'll hang on to this for him. Our best evaluator, Tracy on Zoom. We'll save your best evaluator ribbon. Bravo. And our best speaker today, Darcy. Come on up, Darcy. Draw our winner and we'll make a note to get you your ribbon. We're out of speaker ribbons, but we're ordering them. And listen to the last three numbers. Oh, I will. I have my glasses. 172. Who is our winner today? Larry McKenzie is our winner today. If you didn't win and you want to put your second chance ticket in, that means the split club ticket that you didn't win with can go into the second chance. We're doing the drawing next week. What that means is twice a year, we do a draw from the split club for dues. So get in on dues. You have one more chance next week. Buy as many split club tickets as you can next week to increase your chances, perhaps. And that draw will be next week because dues are due at the end of this month. So that way you know if you don't have to pay. I encourage you to pay for the year. Next week, St. Patrick's Day. And let me get the gavel. And, oh, did you want to adjourn? We're good? Okay, let's do this. See you next week. All right. Thank you, everybody.